JC's doubtful for this game. Just can you sort of give us an update of where he's at?
Yeah, out there doing a lot of DB drills on his own. We're kind of putting him through individual, ramping him up, and he's going to go again tomorrow, and then he'll go again pregame, and then we'll see what happens.
And then you had mentioned just like it was going to come down to the wound healing from the surgery. Like where's that part of the recovery at?
Great. We wouldn't put him out there in individual if that wasn't healed. So that part's healed, and now it's just ramping him up and seeing where he's at from a conditioning standpoint and all that.
If he doesn't go Sunday, is it trending more toward possibly Thursday night, or still too early to tell?
I think it's early to tell, Joe. I mean, we're just going to push it and see where it goes. But we're always going to do what's in the best interest of him. But he's been great. He's been great to work with. He's a stud. He loves to compete, hard worker, and really tough. So we'll just see where it goes.
Just with DP, he obviously had the hamstring. He's back in individual last week, and he's out this week. Did he have like a setback?
Yeah, a little bit of a setback, and it's taken some time. It's just been kind of tricky. He's disappointed, but not discouraged, and we'll get him back here soon.
Drew showed up on injury report today.
Yeah.
Is it just something that popped up and something you want more clarification on?
Yeah, just kind of something at the end of practice yesterday, and just being cautious and just seeing, today, how he feels, and then I think tomorrow we'll have a better sense of, where he's at. But just being cautious today.
Will you guys, make a move from the practice squad at tight end if Donald can't go?
I think that's a possibility. Yeah.
Would it be Richard or would it be Hunter?
I think we're definitely sorting through that today. I think we've given both of them opportunities this week, but I think here in the next 24 hours we'll be able to make that determination.
Think you'll call up an extra lineman Sunday, or?
Again, big day today to make some of those determinations. I think it'll be dependent on the tight end position, whether or not we would call up another lineman.
How much more comfortable are you going into this opener knowing that you know a lot more about your team now after a year and a half, and there's more known than unknown?
I think anytime you get to do something more, you get better at it. And so that's how I feel. I feel every single day I'm improving, and that's all any competitor can hope for. But I love the people that I'm competing with. I think, like I've said, from the top down, from our ownership, the personnel department, our coaches, our players, our staff, you guys, I think that we have a team that believes in each other. And now it's time to go prove ourselves and, compete on Sunday. So we're excited.
When's the last time this offensive scheme, Josh's scheme, had a receiver in it as good as Devontae?
Randy.
You have to go back to Randy.
Randy. And, that 07 New England team was a historic team, with Randy and Welker and, that group of guys. But he's played with a lot of different guys over the course of his career. He also had Brandon Marshall. That was, there was like a, he knows how to use his pieces. And so, and then you also know that Devontae's made a name for himself, in Green Bay and how he plays. And, that there's going to be some things that he likes that he's going to bring with him. And, Josh, very good coach and knows how to use his players for sure.
Hunter Renfrow is a player whose route running is pretty unique. In your prep of, seeing what he does, what makes him such a tough cover?
He's got voodoo at the top of the route. And he's a multi-cut route runner in level 1 and level 2. And so he's got a lot of that creativity and setup. And then he's got the football IQ. He's got that ability to process on the move and attack your leverage, create leverage, and be extremely friendly to the quarterback. And so he's an outstanding football player. He's got real toughness, much better run after the catch than people realize because he's a strong player. So full respect for his game.
There's so much unknown on both sides of the ball because of the new coaching staff, how they're going to implement and utilize some of these pieces and the personnel. A lot of guys have talked about how adjusting is going to be extremely important in this game, and it's going to be not even first half, second half, it's just drive.
Yeah.
How do you approach that as a head coach in terms of knowing, okay, we're going to have to adjust pretty early on in this game once we see exactly how these guys are being used?
Yeah, you got to practice like that. You got to start from first OTA, from your first meeting in phase 1, and you have to have the agility in your football team to be able to, compete like that. And so you got to create a foundation in football where you can draw from things, and that your players have a foundation in those type of contingencies, so that when you do need to make that adjustment quickly, they can go perform it. It's not theory to them, it's application. So that's the way you got to practice throughout the year, to be able to live like that. And, that's what, is going to be required of us on Sunday for sure, for a lot of reasons. But it's like that every Sunday in the NFL. I know that coaches and players, the first game, there's just like this, you don't know what's coming out of the gate, and that's true, but it's kind of like that every week in the NFL. And the best people in this league know that every week is like that. So you got to prepare accordingly.
But what's the biggest challenge for an offense going up against two elite pass rushers like Max Crosby and Chandler Jones?
Well, there's danger on every snap, in the run game and in the pass game. I think both of those guys, they both play with a motor, so there's not like there's going to be downs off for you. They're putting the pressure on you every snap. And, just got full respect for their game. Chandler, standing the test of time. I was in the division with him, with the Rams, and having, Sean having to go against them all the time. And, Joe, Lombardi's had to face him throughout his career, whether it was in New England or, in Arizona. And so he's a very complete player, a very complete rusher, can rush with speed, power, hands. He's got setup, can rush inside. And it's the same thing with Max. They're both really long players, really long. And they can affect the game, every down. So definitely, one of the top tandems that you'll face for sure.
Since this is a 6 degrees of separation John Carroll edition game, any personal history with Josh or run into each other through the years?
The personal history for John Carroll, there's an assistant on his staff named Matt Feeney, who was my starting linebacker, my team captain, my first year at John Carroll, on one of the best teams to ever play at John Carroll. And that's where the John Carroll connection is for me. I know Josh and Ziegler, I know those guys, but Matt is one of my favorite all-time players that I've ever coached. He's one of the best players I've ever coached. And so he coaches for them. So that's where the John Carroll connection is for me, him and his wife, their little girls. So that's where it is for me.
Coach, where do you feel your special teams is at? Obviously a bunch of new faces, a new coordinator, long snapper, returner. How do you feel about that group?
Really confident. They've earned our confidence, and now they get to go prove themselves to everybody else. But really excited for them to be able to show people what they've been working on, and helping us create a culture in that phase. And that's the challenge that's in front of them, is to help create a culture in that phase for us, and because it hasn't been there. And so there's a great opportunity, and I'm excited about all those guys. They've worked really hard. They fit right in. They're Chargers all the way, and now we got to go prove ourselves.
You played more starters on special teams maybe compared to where you were at other teams?
Yeah, you can count on it.